We begin tonight on the city's south side, where police say an upset parent walked onto an elementary school campus with a loaded gun.
That's right. It happened on Monday of this week, but we learned today that gunman has been arrested and is now facing serious charges. Our Taylor Alaniz joins us live from Dawson Elementary School on the south side of town with more on this top story. Taylor?
CCISD police say 26-year-old Alexander Lara Jr. walked onto this campus at Dawson Elementary School and appeared to be upset and intoxicated. Now, police say the school was placed on lockdown because of Lara's behavior and he refused to leave. When officers were arresting Lara, they gave him a routine pat down. That's when they found a loaded gun in his waistband.
We're fortunate the school had just practiced their lockdown drill, and so they were prepared. That campus has the single entry protocol, and so the things that worked right. We did our job, and the person is now was taken to county jail.
Lara is being charged with criminal trespassing and place weapon prohibited, which is a felony. Police warn that weapons are not allowed on school campuses unless you are a peace officer, and even if it's concealed, it is still a felony. It is not allowed. The lockdown was lifted once police took Lara away. Now, there's no word on why Lara was so upset, but police believe he did not intend to use that weapon. For now, live at Dawson Elementary School, Taylor Alaniz, 3 News.